Welcome everyone. This is a quick information on why it's important to monitor your AEM instances. And for the demo, we're going to use Zabbix as our monitoring tool of choice. This video is provided to you by your expert AEM resources from Digital Control. Monitoring, especially with the use of dashboard, will provide your team the quick snapshot to see the health of your AEM instances. You can proactively identify possible issues and make sure they are resolved before they become critical problems. AEM status, usable disk space, repo size, query duration. These are a few of the AEM properties that you can monitor and can give you that 360 view of the health of your AEM instance. AEM allows external applications to interact with managed beans via the Java Management Extensions, or JMX. So external monitoring applications such as Zabbix can view certain AEM configuration properties as well as monitor the performance and resource usage of your AEM instance. So this right here is a high level sort of diagram where Zabbix is monitoring the AEM's JMX console. One of the main requirements is to start AEM with a JMX port defined and then configuring Zabbix to listen and monitor to this port. Creating the dashboard, creating the application items and triggers are all done in Zabbix, which I will do a quick demo. All right, for this demo, I have a local copy of AEM running on default port 4502, and we started it with a JMX parameter to listen to port 1991. We also have a local Zabbix running. It's running on Docker, and we have it configured so its JMX agent is listening to port 1991. So what we're going to do is we're going to create two items, essentially two AEM MBean object that Zabbix will monitor for us. The replication agent for publish, we're going to look at the queue is blocked. Basically, it's a good indicator to know, especially if the authors are complaining that new changes or new contents are not showing up on the publish side. We're also going to monitor the repository size, more specifically the segment store folder, which is also a good indicator of the overall health of your AEM's repository. So my local Zabbix instances is running, and as you can see here, I already have two items created, disk usable space and memory usage. What we're going to do is we're going to add another item, and that's the publish replication agent. So from this view, we click on create item, and then we put the name in there. So I have some of this content already pre-typed, so I'm not typing. For the type, we're going to click on JMX agent. For the key, this is we're trying to get the return value of the attribute of the MBean object. So for this particular object, let me just go to the AEM's JMX console. We're looking at the replication publish agent. We're looking at the attribute name queue blocked, and we're monitoring the value of queue blocked from false to true. False is good, queue is not blocked. True, not as good, because that means queue is blocked. So let's go back to Zabbix here. Like I said, I had the key pre-typed here, so I'm just gonna add that here. The type of information is character. We're gonna change the interval to 30 seconds, but that's arbitrary. You can change that to 1 second or 60 seconds. Application is AEM JMX. Click on add, and there you go. So we have a new item in the item screen for AEM author, which is the public replication agent. So the next step, Zabbix is monitoring this item now, but the next step is we're going to create a trigger. So it will trigger a notification, an alert, a dashboard change to say if there's an issue or not. So we're going to click on trigger. Click on create trigger from the screen, and then we're going to type in the name. We're just going to use the same name that we used for the item. The severity, we'll set it to warning. Expression. So expression is essentially the regex formula that would identify the trigger points. So for this particular one, we're looking for true. So the item is the item that we just created, the publish replication agent. And we want, so there's a regex expression. The value is true, equals to 1. And there you go. Let's click on add, and that's create the trigger for us. And based on the screen, we can see here that the regex expression or the algorithm to notify us that it hasn't been triggered yet, and it's essentially says okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to trigger it and to see how Zabbix is going to react. So my local instance here of AEM, my author local instance, does not have a publish instance. So as soon as I replicate, publish some content, it would automatically fail. So using the we.retail sample content here, I'm going to quick publish some content. And going to the replication agent view, as you can see, it automatically says queue is blocked because I don't have a publish instance to replicate my content to. Quickly go to the JMX console, refresh it, queue block, which says now it's true. So now we have a problem. So let's go to Zabbix. Let's refresh this page here. Now it says problem because it's got triggered. So it was looking for the true value. Now it's set to true. Now it says a problem. I've also created some dashboard. As you can see, AEM author, it tells me that there's a problem. Replication agent is blocked. So so that's how you create a Zabbix item and a trigger. And the next thing I would do is create another item for monitoring the segment store size. All right, now we're going to add the segment store size item in Zabbix. So for this particular object, I'm going to show you how to create the item, the Zabbix item, and the trigger, as well as creating a graph to show the history in terms of the changes in the value. So again, from the items view, click on create item, and the name, we're going to use segment store size. It's a JMX agent. So for the key, for this specific object, we're looking for the value of the segment store repo size. So if I go to the AEM console, this is the ambient object that we want, the segment repo size, and we're looking for the attribute value for this particular object. So going back to Zabbix, I have the key pre-typed here. The type of information is numeric. I'm going to change it to 30 seconds. Application is AEM JMX, and click on add. So now we have the segment store size item being monitored by Zabbix. So the next step, as I showed you with the previous item, we're going to create a trigger. So from here, we're going to click on trigger, click on create trigger. For the name, we'll change it up a little bit to give it a little bit more meaning. So the trigger is going to be if the segment store size is more than 3 gig, we want to be alerted. So this morning, and again, as mentioned in the previous one, the expression is the regex statement that will trigger when you hit the certain points. So for this particular one, we click on expression. The item is the item that we just created, the segment store size. We want the last value that we get. And if it's over 3 gigabytes, we want to be alerted. So that's right. Again, the 3 gigabyte is an arbitrary number. It could be anything based on the requirement of your environment, coupled with Adobe's best recommendation or best practice. So I'm just going to click on that there. So segment store size trigger is there. The value is okay. We have it set for warning. So the next step here is I'm going to show you a graph to kind of show you the historical value of this particular item. So we're going to click on graphs, click on create graph. I'm going to put the name, use segment store size. The items, we're going to add the item that we created, which is the segment store size. Click on add. Just so we know that it's sort of working, we click on segment store size again, and we click on preview. And as you can see, it is working, it's getting data. You have your value here, the last recorded value, the min, average, and the max. It also has the trigger rules in here. So anything over 3 gig, you're going to get notified, and there'll be a dashboard change. So what I'm going to show here is we're going to go to the monitoring section of Zabbix and click on dashboard, and I've pre-built a dashboard for our local instance. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the new item, the new graph that we just created for the segment store size. So from the dashboard, we click on edit dashboard. We click on the widget. So we want graph classic. We want to name it the segment store size. And then we're going to click on graphs, and we're going to select the graph that we just created, the segment store size. Click on add, and here we go. And we want to, resize it. And what we can do is we can change up the look of your dashboard, move things around depending on your requirements in terms of what's important to be monitored and what's not important, and then click on save changes. So as you can see, the Zabbix dashboard is quite customizable. It's the central place where you can get your high-level personalized details about your monitored environment. And for our purpose here of the demo, it's our AEM local instance. There's a bunch of options here in terms of the view. You can take a look at the last 30 minutes. So it changes quite a bit in the last 30 minutes. You can go the last 6 hours, and then it's the view changes a little bit here. This you can even zoom in, nail it down, very specific. If you're looking at disk space, for example, it'll just blow up, and then you can see all the values within that item that's being monitored. So as you can see, it's a very robust solution, and if you couple that with AEM's GMX console, and then Zabbix monitoring and dashboard capabilities, what you have here is an open source enterprise level monitoring solution that can scale. The sky is the limit, really. If we go back to the AEM's GMX console here, and just go being GMX, so This is AEM Zabbix console, and as you can see, these are all the AEM properties that you can monitor with Zabbix. It's quite a lot. So, with the right monitoring matrix and strategy, what you have here is all the right pieces for an enterprise class open source AEM monitoring solution that you can use, that you can scale, and that that is quite customizable depending on your requirements of your organization or your DevOps department. And there you have it, folks. Our quick introduction to AEM monitoring by Zabbix. If you have any questions regarding AEM monitoring or anything specific to AEM or the Adobe Experience Cloud, please don't hesitate to reach out. My name is Reyes, Senior AEM Architect, and hope to talk to you guys soon. Goodbye.